What's up, coaches? Today we are going over something that I'm sure you're very excited about. We're going to be going over the Beyond Macros sales script so that you can convert more VIP clients. And the thing is, this is so important. I can't even stress how important this is because most coaches join this program thinking that they're just not getting enough leads. Most coaches come into this program making an offer to everybody that comes across their table. And so this sales script is going to give you a bit more discipline around sales. It's going to also push your comfort zone. You're going to need to get outside of your comfort zone because in order to be converting more people into clients, you need to get outside yours. So prepare for that. You're going to be outside of your comfort zone from now on. No more of these shallow initial calls, no more of these shallow initial conversations. You need to be ready to push some buttons, ask hard questions, and as I like to say, twist the knife a little bit when somebody is fighting to stay in their comfort zone. So as far as sales goes, you need to be in the right mental frame. You need to have the right mental model. I go through a pre-call ritual, which I'm also going to share with all of you. So when you're on these calls, you need to accurately diagnose what this person needs and then prescribe. I see so many coaches who try to give a free consultation. They get on the consultation, they ask what somebody's goal is, and then they start prescribing what that person should do. Or somebody brings up everything they're struggling with, and the coach starts coaching on that initial call, handling each struggle one by one, thinking that if they can just show that client or that prospect all their knowledge and what they're capable of, that person's going to sign up. But that's not how this works. So don't commit malpractice. You are here to accurately diagnose. If you remember, with Beyond Macros, we have a lot of values. And a lot of those values are around having 2 ears and 1 mouth, collecting the dots before you connect the dots, and asking way, way, way more questions than answers that you provide. So that's the big part of the mental model here. The other thing that you have to do, and you need to do this before every call you get on, is you need to detach from yes equals good and no equals bad. You need to detach from the close, because if you are attached to the close, you're not going to accurately diagnose the person. You're going to be biased towards hearing everything they say through the lens of I can solve this, instead of accurately diagnosing what that person needs and then prescribing your coaching if and only if it's the right fit. So you have to detach from that. If you get off of a call and it's not the right fit and you didn't sign somebody up for your coaching, that is fine. That's just as good as if you close them. We need to think about relationships over revenue here. But I don't mean a relationship in the sense of you becoming best friends with the person on the phone or on the call. You don't have to become their best friend. And I'll show you in a second why that's stupid to become their friend. You need to be a leader, and they're completely different frames. So I'm teaching you this. It's powerful stuff. You need to use your powers for good. And I'm going to sprinkle in how to use your powers for good throughout this presentation. So as far as the sales script goes, you have a copy of it. You're going to build it out. You're going to customize it for your business, but it's pretty dang complete, and it converts really well. The time of this was $100 a month for nutrition coaching, which is somewhat unheard of in the industry, yet this script closes. So first things first, you need to get rapport. Just ask something like, where are you from? How's your week? How's the weather? Not all of them. You really want to just get one question in. That's it. Where are you from? Oh, I'm from Ohio. Oh, cool. Been there before. Enjoyed it. So let's get into the call. You're not making a friend. You're not, oh, you're from Ohio. Awesome. I'm a big fan of the Cleveland Indians. Are you oh, cool. You're an Indians fan. Oh, awesome. Did you see the game? Did you see the World Series? No, that's not how this works. You're not becoming their best friend, because that doesn't set the proper frame. You all of a sudden become an equal to them. You are an equal, obviously, but on this call, you're a leader. So in this, if you become their friend, you're on the same plane. A leader, you need to pull them. You need to pull them. And that's an important thing. Do you notice that language? You are pulling them on this conversation. You are not pushing them. We're not pushy salespeople. So once you get through that really quick rapport, That's the point where you need to frame the conversation and really start leading. So this is exactly what is in the sales script. All right. Oh, cool. You're from Ohio. Awesome. Been there before, had a decent time. So you ready to dive in? Cool. So let me explain quickly how today's call will go. I'm going to just start by asking you some questions about where you're at and what you need help with to bring you some clarity about the best path towards your goals. At the end of the call, if it sounds like I can help you, we can talk about what that looks like. But if I think a book or a resource or even a colleague might be a better fit, then I'm going to let you know that as well. Cool? From there, you want to get a yes. An awesome. Sounds good. And what you've done here, what I've bolded there, that's way different than what other people are doing. Most people are getting people onto strategy session, sales call, whatever, and no matter what, it ends with a pitch. So just by you saying, if I think a book, resource, or a colleague might be a better fit, or really letting them know that you might not even make an offer, it's going to be a completely different frame. You've also set up leadership here because some people are going to want to get on a call and then they're immediately going to jump into asking you questions. They're going to ask you what the price is before they've even heard what things are. You're going to hear some ridiculous stuff. Grab leadership, grab the frame. This is how we do it. So once you get a yes after this, then the first question we're asking is, cool, so what motivated you to take the time out of your day to chat with me? We need to figure out their motivation for the call. You're going to get some gold there. Make sure you're taking notes. It's an important thing that I didn't mention early on is you should have a notebook open. You should be taking pen and paper notes. Okay, so from here, once we've collected that information about their motivation for getting on the call, we're diving into their vision and their why. This is where we are looking to, and I talk about this in another presentation. I talk about this in the objections presentation, but closing comes from a balance of pain and belief. I call it the PB balance. So here you are going to be getting their vision, and it needs to be something they believe that they can reach. So you're going to ask this here from the script. You're going to ask them what they want things to look like 12 months into the future. And most people are going to say something shallow. So you need to dig. I want to lose 20 pounds. All right. So cool. I'm hearing that you want to lose 20 pounds, but what's motivating you to achieve that? Because we don't care that they want to lose 20 pounds. We care why. This is where you're going to be able to get the information you need, not only to close them, but honestly, client compliance and client results start on this initial call in the sales conversation. If you don't dig down to their deep why from day one, you're not going to be very good at motivating them. If you have to find it out down the track, that's not a good thing. We need to find it out right away. We need to find out where we're taking our clients, and you need to do it from this call. So keep digging. You're going to reflect back again. Okay, so I'm hearing that you want to lose 20 pounds to look better naked, but why is that important to you? You need to keep going until you hit the emotion. You know, if you stop here that they just want to look better naked, that means you're staying in your comfort zone. And it's not going to close because they're going to be afraid to get out of their comfort zone because you're afraid to get out of your comfort zone. And it's going to be out of their comfort zone to work with a nutrition coach and to actually make these changes. Otherwise, they would have done it themselves. So again, we're going to reflect back. You're going to get to something and you're going to say, oh, wow, okay, that's awesome. You're going to be escalating your excitement as they get more vulnerable. You're going to be really escalating that, wow, this is good stuff. You know, you're going to really let them know that they're doing a good job opening up to you. And that's going to open up vulnerability loops. But if somebody is just giving you really surface level stuff, let's see, I don't have it on the next slide, but if somebody's giving you really surface level answers, this is where you can say something like, you know, if they're just like, oh, you know, I want to look better naked. Why do you want to look better naked? Oh, just because I think it would be cool. You know, if they're just talking you into a loop, then ask, all right, you know, why don't you just stay where you're at? It doesn't sound like there's a really big important reason for you to make a change. So why not just stay where you're at? And then you'll probably get a bit of gold. It's a really good question you can ask. So once we figured out their vision, where they want to go, It should be something ideally that they believe they can reach, but it should also stretch them. So you want to dig for something that's a stretch, but you don't want to dig so deep that it's something that they don't believe they can achieve. From there, we want to discover their current situation. So you can ask these questions. You're going to be taking notes on all of this. It's going to dig into the pain that they're currently feeling. Again, PB balance, pain, and belief. So this is important. You're going to ask potentially different questions than this. We ask a lot of questions to get at what they've done in the past that hasn't worked. We dig really deep on that. And we dig into the, again, emotions. You don't just want to ask these questions and get a surface answer, reflect it back. Okay, so I'm hearing that you've done Weight Watchers. I'm hearing that you've done keto. I'm hearing that you've done paleo. You've always managed to lose 10 pounds and then gain 15 back. So how's that feel for you? How's that affected your life? How's that affected your confidence? You want to get to an emotion. So we want to discover the situation, but we don't just want to get facts. We need to get some emotions. And then we need to establish the gap. We need to ask them, okay, so what do you think's been holding you back from losing 20 pounds and keeping it off? What's been keeping you back from losing 20 pounds and finally being in a place where you don't just add 25 pounds over the next 3 months? And you want to dig into this. And what you're looking for is essentially the fact that they don't know how to do it. They have an inability to do it on their own. They might know how to do it, but they want to do it faster. They want to do it in a way that is more controlled or easier for them, or that they want to have guidance from someone who has a track record. All right, so we want to make sure that we're getting those motivations and we're hearing whatever iteration of those motivations they say. So from there, once we've got that, we need to future pace and qualify them. And by qualify, I mean you're not going to make an offer to everybody anymore. So future pacing. You're going to tell them, thanks for sharing those insights, Matt. So if it were possible to lose 20 pounds so that you feel more attractive to your wife, how long would you want to wait to start making that a reality? And then from there, if they don't say right now, if they say, well, I think I'd like to get started on January 1st and it's, December 1st, dig in, ask why. You just told me how important it is for you to do this. Why do you want to wait a month to feel the way that you explained you want to feel? Why are you going to put this off? So if they feel, or if you feel they're not enough pain to act, if they tell you something like, oh, well, I've got a bunch of Christmas parties and stuff like that, and I just don't want to be on a diet while all that's happening. Well, if they say that, they're obviously not in enough pain to act. If you make an offer, and they don't want to start for a month, they'll hear that offer and then they'll be like, oh, okay. And then in the month between this call and the next call, they're going to talk themselves out of it. You're probably not going to hear back from them on January 1st anyway. So at that point, you don't want to be making an offer. You want to tell them, okay, well, you know what? How important is it to you to actually lose those 20 pounds on a scale of 1 to 10? And if they say a 10, then again, ask, I'm just not understanding. If it's that important to you, why do you want to wait a month? And you need to keep digging. But if they just keep saying that they want to wait a month, but it's a 10, then maybe reschedule them in for a month. Maybe they really do feel like all the obstacles coming up over the next month are too difficult. Then reschedule them in for a month. Don't make the offer on this call. Just reschedule them in. But if they're not saying a 9 or a 10, if they're saying even an 8 or a 7, and they're saying they want to start in a month, don't make an offer and say, okay, you know what? I just don't think it's the right fit. I only have enough space to work with so many people. So how about you reach out to me in a month? And if I have space, we can get on another call and talk about whether or not it makes sense to work together. All right. So these are really, really important things. You're not going to make an offer to everybody anymore. Making offers to people who you shouldn't be making offers to is the fast path to thinking you suck at sales. And it's also going to really muddy the energy of the rest of your sales calls. You only want to make offers to the right people from now on. So if you do decide, if somebody says, yep, I am a 10 out of 10, I want to get this solved and I want to get it solved yesterday. We start the close sequence by saying, great, well, I have something that can do just that for you in the next 90 days, 100, 6 months, whatever. And then just shut up. Make them ask you to tell them how that works. So it's a game of chicken. If you're not familiar with a game of chicken, you're driving two cars at a blistering pace straight at each other. If you swerve and you brake, you lose. If they swerve and they brake and they ask you, then you win. You're the leader. If you both swerve at the same time, it's kind of an awkward situation. And if you just both keep shutting up, then wow, that's good on you. Just a stare down. I've never had that happen. Usually somebody breaks and asks me, cool, well, how does that work within 10 seconds? Most people are used to being pitched, so they're going to sit there waiting for you to pitch them. They might even ask, are you still on the call? Are you still there? Did this freeze? Yep. Just want to, I'm wondering where you want to go from here. And then they might say, well, how does it work? And that's where we move into, okay, how does it work? Cool. So yeah, this is what the program is about. And you want to write this for yourself. You want to focus in on how your program benefits their goals, how it helps them achieve their goals, why it does it. You're going to make a really strong promise, and you're going to briefly touch on the 5 steps of your program that we created, that irresistible offer. This shouldn't last more than a minute to 90 seconds. Most people are used to a pitch fest at this point. They are used to people talking in circles. And you know what happens if you say too much, is that you confuse them. And confused people need to think about it. You're going to create objections if you say too much. You need to make a strong promise based off of their goals, off of their vision, off of their struggles, but put it in terms of your program, or put your program, I should say, in terms of their goals and their struggles. So this is an example here. This program is designed to help you lose up to 20 pounds in the next 90 days, which is more than your goal. So we should hit yours no problem. And even though we move fast in the program, we are also going to help you reprogram your mindset to finally keep all the weight you lose off. You're going to be developing inner confidence like you've never experienced from day one. And we do this through a 5-step approach. And then just list out those 5 steps in terms of their benefits. So you might say, first, we're going to identify what needs to happen on a physical level. We're going to identify what changes you need to make to your eating habits in order to actually lose 20 pounds in the next 90 days. But from there, different than you've experienced in the past, we're actually going to take a look at your stories around eating. Because if we can't reprogram your stories, then when we're done working together, you're going to go back into those old patterns and you're going to end up right back where you were. So we're going to go through a process of unraveling those stories and then, go on from there. You're going to really want to make sure that your 5 steps hit on the struggles, the obstacles, the goals that they told you earlier on in the call. And you'll have your notebook open. Keep it really short. And then just say, sound good, and shut up. You're going to wait for them to say yes or ask questions or bring up objections. You're just going to sit there. Again, you're playing chicken. Sound good. Yep. And just keep shutting up when they say yes. And then if they ask, you still there? Or, something like that. Yeah, I'm still here. I'm just letting you process it. Or if they ask you, let's say, okay, so where do we go from here? Then you ask them, oh, I'm just letting you process it for now. But yeah, where do you want to go from here? What are you thinking? You ask them a question again. Great, where would you like to go from here? And then either they're going to say, well, I'd like to sign up, or they're going to ask you questions. Eventually, they're going to ask you how much it costs. So you're going to answer that, telling them about the investment and reflecting back their goals and the value. You need to deliver this with loads of belief. The example? All right, so since your goal is to lose 20 pounds, I'm going to get you there with a completely personalized plan. I'm 100% committed to getting you there, whatever it takes. And I want this to be the last time you ever have to lose weight again, because I know it'll completely change your life and boost your confidence. And the investment for everything that I've mentioned today is only $1,000. Sound good? Again, that only is huge. Huge. And then shut up. You're going to wait for them to say yes. And you're either going to get, yeah, let's go. That is only $1,000 for all that. Awesome. And if you get that yes, then say, oh, cool. How do you want to pay? We take credit card or we can get your bank details. You want to grab those over the phone. You don't want to send them a link or anything like that. Take those over the phone. If they don't say yes, you're going to get objections. And the next training is all about how to actually manage those. We don't handle objections, as you'll learn, but most people say, how do I handle objections? But yeah, I'll teach you how to actually understand objections and how to work through them. So this is the sales script. You have a copy of it. You're going to have a bit of homework, which is to fill in your short 60 to 90 second pitch. And I want you to actually practice this sales script. I want you to practice these questions because you need to deliver them without a bunch of extra fluff. You need to just deliver the questions as they're written. You don't want to give them a reason to think this guy's not competent. So if, for example, this one, cool. So what motivated you to take the time out of your day to chat with me? Honestly, when I first started doing sales calls and I added this in there on the recommendation of a mentor, I put so many qualifiers into it. And I probably lost the call just from asking this question without confidence. I would say, cool. So I know that you're really busy and, you took the time out of your day to chat with me. So I like to learn, why people get on this call so I can figure out, just cut the fluff with all your questions. Just get to the point. All right. So that's the sales script. I think the most important part of it is the mental models. I'll do an additional training on the pre-call rituals. I'll even give you a copy of mine, but I want you to make your own. But go through this sales script, memorize it, fill in your details, and practice it, because this is what is going to build your business up to 6 figures or whatever you want it to be. Hopefully 6 figures or more. My goal is to have at least 7 of you that are 7-figure earners in the next 3 years. So that would be lovely. And the only way you're going to do it is by mastering sales. So dive into these trainings, listen to them over again, and start closing business. But also, stop making offers. Pull a few offers. I think that's one of the hardest things early on. But if you can manage to know when a prospect is probably not going to close, or that they're not someone you want to work with, they're not the ideal client, or your program isn't a good fit, if you can pull the offer, you're going to get respect from those people, and you're going to keep the energy of your sales calls nice and clear for the future.